Hi, everybody. Today's episode of Heavy Friending is probably one of the best in human history.
Of podcasts or of our show?
In the history of me being a podcast host as human.
Yeah, I agree.
It's one of the greats, and many people will talk about it for years.
Yes, it's tremendous.
We talk about the Borat sequel that is coming
some people
soon
call it.
to Amazon.com. And we might have slipped out some things that might be considered spoilers. So here's what we're going to recommend. If you're worried about that kind of thing, hey, go watch the movie. Enjoy it. We liked it. Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert. And
but also don't be that way. Just listen to it. That's what I think.
I think do both.
It's fine.
And if
it's
you
not
don't care,
hurt you.
Listen, we don't necessarily spoil everything.
This isn't The Sixth Sense. There's no,
spoiler.
Okay.
Is there a twist in there?
There's no twists, all right? It's just a freaking movie. It's fine.
Okay. But guys, one thing I can guarantee, and this is a spoiler, is this episode is really good.
You gonna have fun.
So enjoy it.
Oh, man.
This is Heavy Friending. I'm friending you so hard, and a lion slowly forming like a boner in my heart. So if you wanna fucking friend me, better give me all you got. No, I don't take this lightly, cause it's heavy, heavy friending. There is an eagle flying. Yeah!
Hello and welcome to my pod. I don't know, Ken, that wasn't good.
That's Borat?
My wife. Yeah, I don't know. You do it. Let's start over.
Yeah, I can do it. Yagshimash, my wife, prostitute.
Anus.
What?
Anus.
My crumb.
My anus. My back pussy.
Oh, Yakshimash to today's episode, guys, gals, everyone.
This is an exciting one, right?
Okay, I'm already interested because you're saying it's exciting, and I don't know anything about your relationship with this film.
Well, the original. So there's. All right. Well, let's just introduce the podcast.
I'm so excited. It was hard for me not to say that.
Okay. So this is Heavy Friending, Austin's #1 friendship-based podcast. My name is Laura Lee Bishop.
Yakshamash.
My name
sitting
is here with my friend
Joe Barlow.
Today is Joe's had some health problems. He had some stones.
I have a urologist now in Austin, so it's a big deal.
So we missed last week, but we're back with a really exciting episode because we got to, again, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, when we get to see a movie before other people, it makes me feel like I'm better than other people. And I like to feel better than other people. I love that. Enjoy it. And I needed that today. Had a really rough day.
Yeah.
And I also had a kind of a rough weekend. Well, I mean, it was fun, but I was traveling. I was with John for his birthday and we went fishing on a fishing
Your
trip.
husband.
We were sleeping on an air mattress in a camper, and that ain't Laura Lee style. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, but it's, it's maybe a reminder of the romance that once was.
It was a reminder that I love my shower and my bed and stuff like that. And I could not wait to get back. But anyway, it was fun and whatever. But I'm just ragged. I'm worn ragged and I needed to pick me up. I needed a boost. And that is when this film it fell into my lap.
Literally.
Yeah.
Well, because I didn't tell you, so our good friends over at Fonz PR, they hooked us up with this. And I got the email. I don't know. Did you get an email about Borat?
I don't think so because
I got one.
I get no respect. That's why.
Well, that was I didn't initially tell you about this because I think, aren't you an Amazon Prime? You have Amazon Prime, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have Amazon Prime. So I got the email about Borat coming to Amazon Prime. I was so excited. I'm like,
Borat is how you say it.
That's how everyone says it. Borat. Yeah.
Not Borat. Not Borat.
Not Borat.
Borat. I don't
Borat.
remember. I saw it like 1,000 times back in the day.
Okay,
But,
wait.
you know.
Please don't talk about that.
Okay.
Because I'm so excited about it.
Okay.
But all I want to say is I saw it. I was like, absolutely, I need to see this new Borat movie. Because earlier I had sent the trailer for the new movie to my brother because we were both, we connected.
Spoiler alert.
I won't tell. I'll tell you more later. But okay. But I didn't even think to tell you because I was like, oh, it's not really maybe going to be a good episode for this show because it's on Prime. People have Prime. Who cares?
Yeah.
So I mostly did it for me. But then today, when they actually sent me the link, then I was like, hey, do you want to do this as an episode? And you were like, yeah.
Yeah,
so
because I wanted to see the movie. I just wish that we were getting these earlier than we're getting them, the screeners.
Well, the other thing about the screeners is
we can get them out. We can do something cool for it. You know, what if we wanted to wear mustaches or whatever, and to do something funny?
Right. No, that would be nice. And then if we wore mustaches, that would remind people, oh, hey, these people got to see that movie early because not only they saw it so early that they got to wear mustaches.
And honestly, I love to wear mustaches. A lot of people know that about me. Like I love to wear a fake mustache. I've actually, not kidding, considered selling a Primo the Alien mustache merch.
Wow.
Like a stick-on mustache back.
For a few years, you grew yours out and...
it's not as full as I want it to be. It's too wispy, so.
Well, I also think it's weird when your hair's purple and your mustache was so dark. It was such a dark
black. It was very pitch black. It matched my pubic hair. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Very thick and unruly, wild.
It was a startling look.
Yes,
so are you ready to get into our Borat histories?
Yes, let's do it. Okay. So anyway, the name of this film is, what's the subtitle? Because it's like something else. It's like
it's cool how you started that sentence like you had information, and now you're asking me.
I'm asking you. You're the info guy. I'm the idea man.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think for short they're calling it Borat Subsequent Moviefilm.
Okay, Borat Subsequent Moviefilm. That's what we're talking about today, guys. The
first one was called Borat: Cultural Learnings of America for Make Benefit Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan. Yeah.
And y'all can see this on Amazon Prime starting on
Friday. On Friday.
Okay. That's October 23rd. So when you're listening to this, is this going to come out on October 23rd?
I think this will come out before because we have to release it earlier than the day
special. Yeah.
To show people that we
watched it. Right. Okay. So this will come out on October 22nd. And if that's the case, that means you guys still have time. I just want to say this before we really get into this. I'm playing an outdoor show in Austin on October 24th. It's a drive-in show. Please support it. Please go see the show because this is how we can keep Austin musicians working. And the link will be in the episode description. Okay. Now let's talk about this guy from Kazakhstan.
Okay, so the original movie, which is wild to think about, but it came out in 2006.
I saw it in movie theaters.
Me too.
Yes, I did.
You saw it in New York?
I saw it. I believe I actually saw it in East Texas, and I was home for something. Do you have the exact date of when it came out? And I'll tell you where. And I'll tell you where it was because I want to really get in that place. But I'm pretty sure I saw it with John Michael Taylor.
Oh, wow. Okay. It came out.
My husband.
November 3rd, 2006.
Yep. So I think I saw it with my husband. I think he was
back then he was just your fling, you didn't know.
Yeah. Back then he was just a booty call and a fine booty call at that. Really, so good. Made me want to marry that booty.
And then he was like, my wife.
Yes. And I say that to him too. But way worse than that because apparently I do really bad impression.
Yeah, really bad. Really bad.
It's Borat. It's not Borat. I say Borat. I think I say Borat. I think that's how I've always said it, but I'm not sure now. It's been a while. So I'll say this. I saw the film in theaters. Mm-hmm. My initial impression, I thought it was hilarious. I loved it. I thought it was ridiculous and stupid and all that kind of stuff and gross. And I liked all those things. Now, before I watched the new one, I was thinking, am I still going to think those things are funny? Because granted, that was us at that age. We were like little babies, you know, we weren't legal drinking age. We were just teenagers, you know?
Yeah. And I think also too, like the world was different in 2006.
Oh yeah. Because there were some jokes in this one.
Yes.
So
let's not get too far ahead, but
Okay.
but I agree. I share your like apprehension. I was like walking to my apartment today and I was like, ooh, is this going to be like sort of embarrassing? Like when like, you know, your off color uncle is like making jokes at Thanksgiving and you're like, dude, we don't do that anymore.
We don't do it anymore. We did in 2006.
2006, we laughed our little butts.
We thought it was hilarious. So, you know, I was a little concerned about that.
Mm-hmm. But I don't want to get into your current day as much.
But one of the things that I did like about the other film was just that I love to see people get exposed. I love the exposure, you know, expose them. So that for me, like the best part of Borat was
you say whatever you want.
Seeing that guy's like little penis. I don't give a fuck about that. Didn't we see that guy's dick at some point? The big guy?
The big guy, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Seeing that guy's dick, it's like, all right, I saw your dick. I like to watch people get exposed more. And so that's what I was really looking forward to with this one is I was hoping people would get exposed. And am I allowed to say that it did not? Oh,
we'll get to that.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, let's get to it.
Okay. Well, I want to explain my background.
Oh, okay. You loved it.
Okay. My background is even before the Borat movie came out, my brother and I want to say it was maybe the summer, couple summers before, we were doing the Borat voice around our house because Borat originated on Ali G's, the Ali G show or whatever. And I had gotten the DVD, I want to say for Christmas, you know, before this movie. So we were doing that annoying voice around our house, I guess probably on like summer break when we were both in our parents' house way before the movie came out. So when the movie was like coming out, we were super excited.
Yeah.
But we were also already over some of the stuff I think that people were experiencing for the first time. So we weren't annoying about Borat when the movie came out. We were annoying before the movie came out, and everyone thought we were way more annoying because they didn't know what we were talking about.
Yeah.
So when the movie came out, I remember I was in college and I didn't go and see like movies that often in college in theaters. And this was like one movie experience where I was in Iowa. And so,
maybe they call it Borat in Iowa and they call it Borat.
I'm sure we could like play a little clip of him saying it, but I mean,
Borat.
maybe I don't know.
Borat.
Maybe he says it like that. And then,
okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
But I remember I put Borat up there with Team America, which I saw in theaters, and Superbad as like the most fun theater experiences I had. Like the first time in Team America when they sing America Fuck Yeah, like the audience was just like going crazy. And Borat, that first one, was one of those experiences where I think people were just like practically like screaming, laughing because we were so shocked by what, you know, I think mostly it was that exposure part of like, he made people look so foolish, but
because
the character,
they are.
But the character is so lovable and so like he doesn't understand.
Oh, I hate his character. Like
So
I don't find him lovable. I find him really annoying. I mean, I find the character annoying. I think what he does is very funny, but like I think he's
lovable in the sense that you don't understand. Like he's a fish out of water, so everything's new to him. He doesn't understand, and so you're sort of like you sort of feel for him not being in a world that he understands.
I think a little bit probably has to do with me being a female, in that I just don't find some of it like I don't know. I think that the whole character is geared towards white men. And that's fine. It's whatever. But like it's just like at a certain point, it gets like old. Do you know what I mean?
Interesting.
Just the whole thing with like the women and everything. It gets like, it's like such a big part of the joke. And it's like, we get it. It's like, at what point does it go from being a joke to like being a issue? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then you don't have any other material besides that. Like it's kind of one of those things like where they say like in comedy, it's like, don't pick on like the people at the bottom, like pick on the fucking assholes, but like don't shit on the people who are already getting shit on type of thing.
Right. And in the first movie, I mean, his main targets were women and Jewish people. Again, where you're like, yeah, maybe why are we picking on these groups of people? So yeah, I definitely agree that going into this movie, I was like, oh no, if he's hitting a lot of these same tones, it's just not going to be good.
Well, he did.
He did.
He did.
And how'd you feel about that?
So I'll say this. I didn't laugh like I did when I was 19 or however old I was when I saw the movie. I mean, when I saw the movie, I thought it was so funny. I was laughing really hard. There were a couple of times where I laughed at it wasn't at his jokes. It was at these dumbass people. Like I'm going to say this. I don't want to do spoilers for this, but like, I don't know if there are spoilers for this sort of a movie. It's not like I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm just mean like, it's not like a film like that where there's like a plot necessarily. Well, it's really just like jokes and like weird scenarios, right? That could be totally taken out and standalone in a lot of ways.
Well, I think what I like about it is that, because I like this movie, I think the first one, I don't remember the first one that well. I haven't seen it for a long time, but what I did like, I think I liked it about that movie and this movie is that it really like sews these occurrences with real people in with clearly like, plot devices and like ways to move the story forward. And there really is a actual storyline, even though, yeah, this could be like, they could be random sketches in his sketch show, but I like the way the story kind of weaves it all together. Yeah. But I'm curious. So yeah, how did you,
yeah, so it was
I was
heavy.
Surprised I laughed.
This movie was heavy women centric, like about, women, they can't drive. Well, they can't ask questions. They can't think. They can't. Da, da, da. That was like the whole plot of this movie was that women go in cages and here's an instruction manual for women and how, it was, that did get tedious to me. Like after a while, it was like, okay, I get it. We get this, that this guy thinks this way. We get it. We got it. Like, I don't need to spend any more time on it. I feel like we spent a lot of time on that. It was, but like, for example, when he went to shop for, am I allowed to say some of this stuff? I don't know.
Let's explain the overarching story basically.
So,
and I'm just going to read this sentence that's online that we're not spoiling anything by saying, but the way they describe it is, Kazakh funny man Borat risks life and limb when he returns to America with his young daughter.
Essentially,
so that doesn't explain it. But in the first movie, wasn't it? He was going to meet Pamela Anderson.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was like that was what the whole thing
does.
So
spoiler
for this,
alert.
Okay. For this one, his goal is, really it's Mike Pence. They set it out from the beginning. Yeah. They say, so I think even from that perspective, I was like interested to see how the modern political landscape would be incorporated into this movie.
Yeah. And there were some funny Mike Pence jokes that I laughed about.
I did think of you. I was like, oh, Laura's going to like some of these.
Yeah. I like those jokes. I enjoyed the movie. I didn't like get mad at it or anything. I did think that there's one part that I did think was like way too far, and I didn't think it was funny at all.
Ooh, you'll have to tell me off my
when he dressed up and went to the synagogue.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I didn't think it was funny. I didn't think that was funny. Like I think it would have been funnier if he just went there and was like saying something to them and then, had this interaction. I think that costume was like not funny. It just wasn't funny. Like, first of all, I hate when people do something that's kind of offensive and that's not even funny, really. Like, if you're going to be offensive, you be fucking make me laugh at least, like to where I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have laughed at that. Like, I didn't even want to laugh. It wasn't even funny. So it was like a wasted, really offensive sort of joke that wasn't even that funny, really.
Yeah, I do think sometimes the joke, quote unquote, is that they're saying stuff that is completely shocking, right? You're saying bad things about women. You're saying bad things about Jewish people. You're going to a synagogue and you're doing whatever. So I do think that is, not like the most clever way to deal with it. But I will say the one thing that I guess, to me, that scene, without spoiling too much, was one of the surprises where I actually thought this movie had a lot of heart. And I don't remember the first movie having
the first
heart.
The first one didn't have any heart. But he had to in this one. He knew he had to. Right.
And but because I think you have, obviously, we read that, we told you guys that it has this daughter. His daughter's a part of it. So, it could have gone really fully, woke Borat, or it could have gone, now we're using my daughter to make more jokes. I would say they kind of use the daughter in both ways, where they definitely made jokes about women, but they also used it as an emotional thing for the story. And I think sometimes I would be annoyed with a comedy that uses emotion, but like and I think people will talk about how bad some of the people look, especially high profile.
I kind of want to talk about
people.
I kind of want to talk about that, though. I don't think it's a spoiler. I think it needs to be talked about.
I think what's more interesting is these good people that were actually shown, because you mentioned the synagogue. There's a woman there, and she's just the kindest woman. And I thought, in this political season, we keep learning about how divided we are and how there's no hope for the future. And then you have someone like that. You have the guy getting a haircut. Like, I thought that guy was
that
a
scene.
good guy.
So there's a scene.
Hold on. Okay. So, and then you have the babysitter, and you have the girl who swore at her dad. I don't want to spoil anything, but you know who I'm talking about? She was like, she said, fuck, or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I was like, there's actually, and I don't remember these from the first movie, I think there's really great examples of people in America. Whereas in the other movie, I feel like it was like, damn, there's some like shitty stuff going on in America. And I think this movie definitely shows that. But now we're also getting like, I actually was like, oh, there's some really good people out there.
Yeah. What I was going to say about the haircutting scene is that was an example of a scene where it was just funny. Like, it was funny. It wasn't just shocking or anything. It was just funny.
Yeah. Well, like, it was funny, even though the guy wasn't like making a jackass of himself. That guy was really,
it was just a funny, he was
a good guy.
Yeah. It was funny. Yeah. And I think the touching moment that he has in the synagogue could have happened without that outfit and without that costume. Like, I think that he could have come in and like gone there to hide out or whatever it was he was doing. And that whole scenario could have been set up, and he could have said something offensive or done something offensive without that freaking outfit and that costume. It was like it was just, I don't know. It's just, I'm going to tell you, it's not going to go over well. It's not going to go over well. It's going to be bad.
I definitely understand that point of view, but I also think the power of that scene is even more amplified, and the power of that woman when she's, and I'm trying not to spoil this, but I feel like she is so good and so pure in the face of a person who is
But
clearly,
that could have been accomplished without that.
I think it amplifies it. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I think that amplifies.
I think I think the problem is that a lot of people who are going to watch that movie are going to be laughing. It's like, there's like the audience, there's going to be audience members who are laughing for the wrong reasons at that. And I don't like giving them that. I don't like giving them that satisfaction of seeing that and then thinking that's like okay and funny for them to laugh about, because it's not. You know what I mean?
I don't know, because I
think any Jewish person is going to agree with me on this. I think it's really offensive. I think that was very offensive. The prosthetic was very offensive.
I'm telling you, I agree that was offensive, but I think if you're laughing at that and you're ignoring the way this woman encounters what is just a purely horrible thing, I feel like if you had prejudiced feelings about Jewish people, right? Mm-hmm. And you're a person that might laugh at this offensive costume that Borat is wearing. Mm-hmm. Then when you see the reaction of a pure, kind Jewish woman, I do partially feel like you might be sort of, you might be more open to seeing that. Then maybe if you laughed when you first saw him and then you see this pure, kind woman who doesn't, make a comment about it at all. She basically is just like the nicest woman you've ever seen. I feel like it's so much more powerful in that way. And I think he could have had the same effect without doing that. I think that he could have shown that these people are really kind, still made some jokes without taking it to that level. I think the other thing about this movie is that you really don't know what is planned out and what is actual, like, legitimate people. I know. Because I could easily see that scene in particular as being a staged scene. Like
those two dudes he was with at that one part. I'm like, who? When he was in like the cabin with those two dudes. Are y'all actors or what's the deal? Because I know that sometimes they are actors and like,
right. And they were in such a significant part of the movie.
Yeah.
And really played like a plot role. I agree. Those guys. And then the babysitter too. I could see her being.
Yeah. Can we talk about the plastic surgeon? That was the most disturbing there was one there. Now the most disturbing thing is the high profile person. But the second most was that plastic surgeon. I was like astounded. Yeah. Because there's a comment that's essentially made that is like, would you sleep with me? She says. And he says, if your dad wasn't here.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be an underage person.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. You don't know if he knew she was underage but it's the worst comment. Yeah. The guy is... What a horrible, why would you say
it was horrible. And also that man was also super anti-Semitic. I mean, it was insane. It was crazy.
It was crazy. And I mean, there are a lot of those moments in this movie, and it is because you do know, because there were news stories about this. So this isn't a spoiler. I won't say how it fits into the movie, but, people caught him because he went to like a Trump rally and sang a song and he basically like rented a stage and all that. So people knew about this, but like clearly the people there who were watching him in the moment didn't know.
No, they're fucking
that this
idiots.
was part of a movie. So that some of the stuff in the movie is actual people who don't realize that
you don't know that one person is real actual people and doesn't know. There's one person in particular who ain't in on the joke and doesn't know.
It's the high profile.
There's one person.
Well, and people were saying, because I remember now, like someone was like, "Oh, their career is over." This high profile person, like, I don't think his career is over.
I think it should be. I think that I am so watching that made me, it wasn't like funny to me at all. I'm sure it wasn't funny to you. It was so scary to me. Like watching it made me feel scared and sick. Like, oh my God, this is like the thing you think that people do that, you know, they're nasty, you know it. And you think those things, but you're like, don't really understand until you really see it. And then you think, oh my God, holy shit.
Right. And it was exactly like how you've heard these things sort of go. You know, where it's God. Like,
and it could, and this is what's crazy to me. Why didn't he let it go further? There's a part where he could have let it, and I don't know if it was for the sake of the female actress. Yeah. For her, like, you know, respect and dignity, because at that point it could have gone into like porn. I mean, yeah. And we're tiptoeing around that spoiler. I think that's as much as we should say about it, but I do agree it was shocking to watch. And the movie really builds to that. And I think it does a good job of having that be part of the storyline. But I think I had no idea it was gonna. I didn't think it was gonna be as bad as, to me. Yeah, I didn't think that was gonna get as bad as it got. I just,
when it makes me wonder, like, is that kind of what they hoped would happen? Is that like, because it seems like they sort of planned for that to be the case, but like, did they really think that would happen? I mean, that's just wild.
She had to have like well, I don't know. I mean, I guess he was watching, well, I can't say anything, but like, I wonder if they were watching a live feed and he was like, I can't let this keep going on. This is like,
yeah, I'm sure because they were watching it live.
Person, I would be like, someone come get me out of here, because now I'm getting like worried for my safety. This is like horrendous.
I feel like she, you know, since they clearly had the camera set up, you know, in that other room.
It also takes.
They were clearly prepared for it, and I'm sure she probably felt as safe as you could. She's probably nervous because you don't know
of course,
what someone might do.
There's a part where she almost starts to laugh at the very beginning of the interview, and she like makes this face like she's gonna laugh because he says something like ridiculous, and she's like, "One." And I was thinking, you know, it's not like a movie where you have cut line and you can start again. You can't laugh. You have to act like this is a real interview and a real thing, and you don't get a do-over with these people. Like, you got one fucking shot, and you better hope they don't smell a rat.
Here's what I think, because I think they obviously had that planned, but I really do think that I don't think they expected it to get that far. No. I think like best case scenario for them is like this person walks into that room and then they cut it there. You know what I mean? Like, because nothing like happens, but it's like they went into that room and then something happened. Yeah. And it was sort of horrifying.
Very.
Because you know this sort of thing has happened.
Yeah, you know before. It's happened. And it's like almost happened. I mean, it's the stuff like that's almost happened to me before, you know, where you're like, what is happening right now? And you have like these like weird feelings, and I don't know. It's just, it like hits too close to home in a lot of ways, you know, of people just being really creepy and really gross. And you know, God almighty. It's just, I will say this. The person's career may not be over, but like, this is not good. It's not good. It ain't going to be good. No. And what's crazy is what he does is so crazy that it takes away from all the crazy shit he says in the interview. Because he also just, aside from that stuff, says some crazy shit in the interview. Like the bat thing, and like,
I do think, I mean, because
idiot.
It's a weird movie to watch because you're sort of watching it almost in two ways, where you're like, I'm watching it as the person who's supposed to just be watching this as a movie.
Yeah.
But then you're also watching it as like a person who's like, I mean, I think especially for me, maybe you too, where I'm used to like making content. So you're like, how did they do that? Like there are just certain people in the movie, you're just like trying to figure out how they got these things set up. Sometimes a scene would end and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to know how they got out of there after they did this insane dance, perhaps, or this insane thing. I'm just like, you cut the scene and I have so many questions because even if you were like, okay, all we need to do, guys, is like go in, we get these shots and then we get out. It's like, it's not that simple because it's so awkward because all these people just were participating in this like batshit crazy thing.
So like, and
then you're just like, okay, see you later. We're going to go. Or does like a PA come in and just go like, okay, we're going to shut it down? Or, you know, like, is there someone who just kind of saves them from the awkwardness? Or do they stay in character as, you know, Borat and his daughter, and then they just like, okay, we're going to go. And then they like leave. I don't know. I'm always just fascinated thinking about those kinds of things.
So the scene with his big crate, you know, like that had to be actors. Like there's no way.
Yeah.
I really wish they would say, you know, I wish they would say at the end of the movie, like everyone in this film is not there's no paid actors in this film besides this person and this person. You know, I want to know because I want to know, is it really that scary? Like if I need to know because I just don't think, I know there's bad people out there, but I really don't think like with that scene in particular that couldn't, there's just no way.
I mean, I really want to know, but I also think that is the magic of it where you are debating like, oh, who's actually a real person, who's an actor. Because then after the first one, his wife, the black woman who he married in the first movie, then she was in other stuff. So then I was like, oh, she's an actor.
Right.
So, but yeah, like, I don't know if anyone in this movie is going to be in other stuff or has been in stuff where you're like, oh, that's an actor.
Yeah.
Where it would be that obvious. But I do think that's kind of the fun of it. But also I think that's in some cases they need those actors because they actually care about the storyline. It's not just a bunch of random stuff. So, you know, I assume they have some of their more pivotal scenes shot and then they go back and they're like, oh, we need this kind of scene to connect the dots here. And then maybe an actor is just more logical for that kind of stuff.
Do people know who the high profile person is? Like that's not even a known thing.
I don't think that's out there. So I don't want to be the
God. I am just curious. Like I wonder what his people are doing.
Because you would assume at this point he knows.
Well, I mean, I'm sure his people got a screener somehow. You know, I'm sure they got their hands on it. I'm sure they did.
I also don't know. Yeah, I mean,
so they know that it's bad. I just wonder what he's thinking. I mean, I'm sure. You know, he's seen it. He's seen it. The question is like what he's going to do about it because it's just so bad. Like, do you know how many memes of one thing in particular? Like, I mean, it's going to be so bad. Like, it's going to be so bad. I can't wait for Friday.
We live in an era, though, where like shame doesn't really exist for some people in our society.
Yeah.
And this is a guy who I would put in that category of a guy who doesn't really probably feel a lot of shame or he'll lash out in some way. And I don't know. I think it's fun. You guys are, I mean, I would say we might be jumping the gun here, but I think this is a very good movie to see, especially, I mean, if you already have Amazon Prime, I would say
just watch it. Yeah, definitely watch it. There's so many funny there's just so many, to me, shocking moments where I was like, oh, what? Like, this can't be real. But so I pray that some of it's not real. I pray that a certain someone is just fucking mortified. Are they married? Is that person married by any chance?
Huh?
The high profile person, are they married?
I don't know. And that was a question I had also.
Oh, I hope not for his sake.
I would think if he was married, yeah. I don't know. I feel like we spoiled too much.
Have we spoiled? Listen, I don't think we spoiled too much.
We've implied a lot, and I don't know.
We didn't even say who it is.
I know, but we're saying sort of what happens, and I don't know. I really liked the organic. Maybe I'll put a disclaimer at the beginning of this episode because I think people should watch this and not know anything we've said.
I do have to say this though, and I'm just going to be real. What kind of a person would listen to something like this before watching it, like, and expect? See, I would never do that. I would never, ever, 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 ever like watch something that talks in like about something that I haven't seen that I plan on seeing. I would probably like skip it, but that's just me. I wouldn't even risk it.
No,
I think anyone who's like gone this far into like listening to something like this isn't like concerned necessarily.
I think
about spoilers.
when we release it early though,
it's only gonna be like the day before. Like I think we're fine.
I know, but I think that my point is like we release it early. People don't even have the chance to have seen it, and they would assume we would. Yeah,
I just wouldn't watch it. So we didn't anything.
I'll put a disclaimer at the beginning of this episode.
What's the disclaimer going to say?
I'll do it right now, and I'll just play this exact
with you.
clip. Okay, great.
Okay, here we go.
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Yakshimash. What?
Yakshimash. What?
3, 2, 1. Hi, everybody. Today's episode of Heavy Friending is probably one of the best in human history.
Of podcasts or of our show? In
the history of me being a podcast host as human.
Yeah, I agree.
It's one of the greats, and many people will talk about it for years.
Yes, it's tremendous.
We talk about the Borat sequel that is coming soon
some people call it.
To Amazon.com. And we might have slipped out some things that might be considered spoilers. So here's what we're going to recommend. If you're worried about that kind of thing, hey, go watch the movie. Enjoy it. We liked it. Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert. And
but
then
also
listen
don't
to this
be
episode.
That way. Just listen to it. That's what I think.
I think do both.
It's fine.
And if
it's
you don't care,
hurt
listen, we don't necessarily spoil everything.
This isn't the Sixth Sense. There's no,
spoiler.
Okay.
Is there a twist in there?
There's no twists. All right. It's just a freaking movie. It's fine.
Okay. But guys, one thing I can guarantee, and this is a spoiler, is this episode is really
good. You can have fun.
So enjoy it.
Oh, man.
Good.
So we're pros. Okay, cool.
We'll put
so
that
in there. All right.
And I'll
great.
feel better, And Amazon.com won't get mad. Jeff Bezos will be cool.
There was a Fleshlight connection in this too.
Okay.
And I thought,
now
what?
You're just dropping all the spoilers.
Well, I thought, what? It's like the universe is telling us that we need a Fleshlight sponsorship.
Oh.
You know?
Fleshlight paid for that?
I don't know, but I wish they would pay for us to talk about it. And I will spoiler all the things about a Fleshlight to everyone.
One thing I thought would be fun, since, now we're obviously some of the most prolific film reviewers.
Well, we are.
Certainly in Austin, but probably nationwide. And the one thing, you're a good film reviewer when
they put your quote on the movie poster.
When they put your quote on the movie poster. I'm so glad you knew that, because
all right.
I've made some quotes, and I figure you can just make them up on the spot if you want. But these are my quotes, guys. Amazon.com, the Borat team. If you want to use these in any social promotion and any commercials on Amazon.com itself, feel free. You just have to credit it to, if it's my quote, Joe Barlow at Heavy Friending, or Heavy Friending's Joe Barlow, something like that.
But also put my name like co-host to Laura Lee Bishop, and that will.
Well, I don't think that's
cover
necessary.
the bases. Unless we cover all the bases.
If we come up with one together, that's okay.
Well, they say cover your bases.
Okay,
that's that's a quote.
Maybe
that you could put on the poster. I'm just saying they say cover your bases, and you could just to cover your bases put my name on there. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so these are the Joe Barlow ones. They would just be exclusively Joe Barlow. We don't need to include other people's names.
If you're going to put heavy friending, then to put my name.
Well, again, it's the poster has limited space. We wouldn't want to crowd it with an unnecessary name.
You could put it in a smaller font too.
Should be so small it's invisible.
Change the opacity a little bit, and
it would be good to make it completely 0%.
Just don't want
and
to see
also size 1
cover
font.
Your bases.
That would be fine.
Cover your bases, Laura Lee
So
Bishop.
here's my first one. First pull quote. Now, just imagine this on a poster.
Pull quote. Look at him over here like he's fucking Scorsese.
Oh yeah, Scorsese's always getting quotes on his posters. I love the
Mr.
Irishman
Hollywood
poster.
Mr. Hollywood over here. He's big time.
Pull quote number 1. On a poster. Just picture this. This is good. 2020 gave us a lot of things we didn't ask for, but the Borat sequel is also one of those things.
Okay, should I do a quote?
You have one? Yeah.
You'll have to bleep this.
Okay.
Was his out. Laura Lee Bishop, heavy friending.
What part am I bleeping? All of it?
The whole sentence.
Okay, that might not work on a poster, but
all right. Well, I think that would get me in a movie real quick.
Considering you came up with it on the spot, I respect that.
Thank you.
How about this one? I actually think this would be great.
Okay.
Wow, wow, wee, wonderful.
Oh.
Because it's like wow, wow, wee, wah, but it's wow, wow, wee, wonderful.
Yeah, I love that. That's great.
That would look great on the poster. Top of the poster.
Yeah.
Joe Barlow.
I'm trying to think. I don't know if I can come up with
Joe Barlow says, wow, 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 we wonderful.
What about this?
Oh.
We Kazakhstan this movie. Stan this film. Okay.
No, I get it. I kind of get it.
I mean, I'm just throw off the dome. If you had told me, I would have come up with some fucking real good pull quotes.
Yeah, I didn't think you would do it. So, all right.
Yeah, I probably would.
Okay.
Why probably wah wah wee wah wouldn't have.
Here's my final one.
Okay.
And this is also a spoiler alert. I give my rating for this movie. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So don't let this affect you.
Okay.
4.5 stars. Would recommend to my wife.
That's great. I love that.
That's good.
Yeah, I get it. I got it.
Now, do you have a final one?
I don't think so. I could pull off my notes. People are stupid.
People are stupid is fun.
Because it's true and it is, it works for the movie. It's kind of the whole point of it in a lot of ways.
Maybe you could give your rating and then say people are stupid.
Okay.
I said 4.5 stars.
4.5 out of how many stars? 5?
Yeah, standard 5.
Standard 5? Okay, not.
Yeah. For me, you could do your own rating if you said,
Okay, I give it 2 tampons, and people are stupid.
Out of 5 tampons?
Out of 3 tampons, everyone knows that. That's the tampon scale. Is 3.
So that's a 66.
I give it out of stars. I give it 3.5. 3.5 stars.
Okay. So that's like a 70. That's a low C.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I wasn't howling at it. There were some shocking moments. I thought it was fine. I wouldn't want to pay money for it. I wouldn't have wanted to pay money for it. No. That's just my opinion.
I think I would have paid money.
I would have paid money for that one part.
I would have paid. I would have paid. I liked it. I think I liked it more than you. But again, maybe it's because I'm a white guy.
I do think that is. Why? I think that it's made, that kind of humor is made for white men. And and I get some of it's funny to me too, but I just think it's made for y'all in a way that is not made for anyone else on this planet. Jackass was made for white men. There's just certain,
like Jackass.
Yeah.
Too.
And see, it's oh my God, I'll laugh a little bit, but it's almost the fact that it is made for y'all that makes me kind of put off by it sometimes, because I see y'all laughing in my mind's eye. and it like makes me angry. Like I just see these guys being like, oh yeah, women are so stupid, and I'm like, oh God. See, I don't want you laughing at it, and they do, and I know the type of dudes who do. Like, it's like there's certain people out there who laugh and they don't get the subtlety of certain things. Like in the first one, when there were like really offensive things, and it was funny because it was like so offensive, and this guy's so stupid, you know?
Yeah.
Like you're laughing at him, not like, oh yeah, these Jewish people or whatever. And like they didn't get like some of that, and so it was like kind of like they were. I don't know. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I give it 2 tampons out of 3. So.
2 out of 3. But you know, guys, the white guy scale is of course 4.5. So if you're a white guy,
if you're a white guy, you're gonna like it more than I did.
You're gonna like it more, and you'll probably give it 5 stars if you're a white guy who doesn't pick up on any of the.
Oh, you're gonna love
any of the parts that are attacking you.
Yeah, you're gonna love the shit out of it. Yeah, it was good. It was a good movie. It has a few years ago a career-ending moment, but now it's just another blip. A little blip and nothing.
And I will say, I think it's hard to make comedy right now. I mean, he shot this over the summer. Parts of it during a pandemic, which I think you don't see a ton of jokes about. This definitely tackles that. It definitely tackles politics. It tackles social issues.
Yeah.
I think it had a tough job, and I think it was pretty successful in doing what it set out to do.
I'll say this. I went in thinking I was going to be more offended than I was. Too. And I'm glad his humor has matured along with his viewers like us. And I'm sure that's something he thinks about, when he does it. We all have changed. We've all evolved from then. I remember being in junior high and like saying, that's so gay. Like that was something we said. I couldn't imagine saying something like that now. I will say our generation, something I love about our generation is that we evolve. We really do. Like we've watched a lot of things change and we've gone right along with it, like openly. And our generation is pretty open and honest about saying, oh, that was fucked up that we did that and that we said that, not like doubling down on it and not like, oh, what's the big deal? We just really don't do that. So he's part of our generation, and that's apparent in his evolution of some of his material. So it's watchable.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's probably stuff that they cut out that was probably like horrific, because he was a guest on Jimmy Kimmel yesterday.
Oh.
And there were parts in that interview where I was like, oh, I don't feel like this is good. And then I was like scared to watch this movie because I'm like, oh no, is it going to be 2006 with a lot of the same jokes?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think they did it. I think they did a pretty good job.
I mean, even watching, I've said this a couple of times on the podcast, but I've been watching Girlfriends on Netflix, which is like from the early 2000s. And just it's a benign show about friends. It's not controversial. It's not like trying to make any points about anything really. But God, they have so many really offensive jokes in there about like trans people and gay people. Like it's crazy how many jokes, like lesbianism. They're always like, oh, about, it's just, it's, we've changed. It's great. That's a good thing. That's a really freaking good thing. So, watch the movie. I don't think you'll be offended, but you won't be as offended as you think you're going to be.
Yeah. And I think too, like it's probably more okay to now. Yeah. I think it's good to talk about, does this offend you? Why does this offend you? What do you think? I think that's a conversation that's good to have too now that maybe you wouldn't have had in 2006 because you maybe didn't have the language to process it, or you didn't fully know why people were laughing at certain things, or maybe you didn't want to ask them like, oh, why are you laughing at that Jewish joke that's putting down Jewish people? So,
and I want to say something. I heard someone this weekend say a very anti-Semitic comment. and no one batted an eye. And I it took my breath out of me for a second. And like, I look around and everyone's just like it wasn't even said. So there are people out there, y'all, that are not with us here in this evolution, you know?
Well, and I think this movie does point that stuff out too, where you go, oh, that guy reminds me of my uncle, or he reminds me of somebody I've met or a coworker. And I think you do watch some of that and you're like, that could have been said, you know, at my mechanic, you know, his place, or it could have been said wherever.
Yeah.
So it's good to be aware of these things and maybe try and imagine what you would say in that scenario if someone said that around you. Because again, with that woman who swore at her dad in that one scene, I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
More of that. Like,
yeah.
I was really impressed with her for speaking out in the moment and saying that, you know, 'cause she could have done it on the car ride home, but no, she was like, this isn't okay. And fucking no. So I think it's good. I do think, you know, it's inspirational. This movie's an inspiration to me.
Okay, good.
I'm going to be more like her. I'm going to be like the babysitter. I'm going to be like that Jewish woman. All those people. Oh, and the guy getting the haircut when he like brushed his balls off. I thought that was very funny.
I was cracking. I just thought the setup of that was funny. It was so funny.
The man was so patient.
He was, and I was waiting for any moment to him to say, "Yeah, all right," and he just chilled. He
went home looking stupid, but he knew he was like an honorable man.
Yeah,
and he was like, you know what? I helped a guy out who clearly needed some money.
Yeah.
Love it.
It was great. Y'all go watch it, or just stay home and watch it. Amazon Prime.
Thank you, Jeff.
Borat.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I mean,
thanks, Jeff.
Say that. Thanks to everyone.
Jeff is not the high profile person in this, so they would.
That would
not
be wild if Jeff Bezos put it on Amazon Prime.
It was like, fuck it, I don't care. I'm a fucking billionaire. What are you gonna do? Oh man, gosh. All right, y'all hit us up on Twitter on Friday and tell us what you think about this scene. At Heavy Friending, and you can always call our hotline, the Heavy Friending hotline. That number is in the description below, and email us heavyfriending@gmail.com. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Bye. Oh man. And I just got to say it, and you will have to cut this out, but almost is out. I mean,
we all saw it. I know.